Hey everybody, welcome back to Transitions to Transformation Radio. This is your host, Reverend Sue, and tonight I have two very special guests. I have Reverend Bruce Stewart, and he's from the College of Metaphysical Studies, and he is a great mentor to me. When I came out here 4 years ago, folks, I was a train wreck. I will not kid you. And Reverend Bruce really helped me, and he said something so profound to me when I was going through all my changes, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, is when you get hit with different changes such as breakups, loss of job, loss of, anything in your life, Reverend Bruce is going to talk to us about how we can gain perspective and heal ourselves from it, all from the eyes of love. And along with Reverend Bruce, I have the numerological genius, Todd Patrick Curran, and he's here with us tonight. He's going to share his insights as well. So I'm going to say hello to Reverend Bruce right now. Hi, Reverend Bruce. How are you?
Hi, Susan. It's great to be here. This should be a lot of fun. I've known you for 4 years. I've known Todd for about 14 years, and this should be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's great.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Thanks. Yeah, me too. I really had a nice time chatting with you guys earlier. And tonight's subject, we're going to talk about how to see everything through the eyes of love. And a lot of us are going through a lot of changes, divorce, breakups, losing a job, just totally everything in your life just totally running amok. So how do we deal with this, Reverend Bruce?
That is a very interesting question. I'm not sure how everybody would do it. I know for myself, I look at the influences that we're coming under. And if we're being pushed out of what we're doing, then we're losing our comfort zone. And we can go kicking or screaming, or we can accept it and go with what's presented in front of us. And to me, the easiest way is just one step at a time and take the road that's presented in front of you.
That's great. I remember something you told me that was so profound but so simple, when I came to you, for counseling about 4 years ago. And you told me to simply just change the way you think. And I was like, oh, God. I'm so used to complicating things and getting the proverbial, picker out and just, saying, well, what about this? What about that? That was really good words of wisdom for me. It was easy for me to understand. It took me a little while to implement it, but, it was, really, really helped me. And, this is what we talk about, the shift of consciousness, going from a negative state of mind to a positive one. And, and I've certainly done that thanks to you, Bruce. You've really helped me along, and I'll always be grateful for that.
Well, the one thing you have to realize, Susan, is that you did it. I didn't.
Oh, I know. You just pointed me in the right direction.
So thank yourself.
Well, thank me. Oh, that's good. So I just wanted to also mention that Bruce is also an author of The True Light Cometh and Seeking Spiritual Awareness, A Journey. Can we talk a little bit about your books?
Well, we can. It's basically what we're going to talk about tonight, though. I mean, it's about two people, a man named Dandy and a brother of his best friend, and they went on this, I don't even know what to call it. I guess it's a trip to, oh boy, dead air. It's bad.
Oh, that's okay.
But
it was a trip, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely a trip, and it's all about the adventures they took during that trip, and how their perceptions on things changed, and what they ran into, the people they ran into, and how everything just seemed to come together for them. And that's basically what the book is about.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's absolutely great. I can tell you from a personal perspective, one of the main things I've learned from you and the College of Metaphysical Studies is the law of love.
Yes.
You have to see everything through the eyes of love, which is not always easy, but
no, it's not.
But it's something that we all eventually learn to do. And you know, in order for us to all heal, you know, that's what we really need to do, you know.
Yeah, it's basically how you can tell if it's coming from love or not. Is it coming from faith or is it coming from fear?
Exactly. Fear and love cannot exist together.
Fear is the absence of love. So if you're looking at something out of fear, you can say, well, this may not be the best path for me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm just looking here on the screen, folks. It says your stream may be experiencing dropouts. I hope everybody can hear us okay. Okay, now stream quality is good. Every now and then I have to check the screen, folks. Just letting you know. In case you have any dropouts, just hang on and we'll be back. So it looks like we're on again. So, yeah. So, you know, anybody out there that's going through stuff, if you want to give us a call here, the number is 727-484-2242. Or if you're feeling shy, just go onto my Transitions to Transformation radio page on Facebook. And just, you know, if you have any questions for Reverend Bruce or Todd Patrick Curran or myself, just give us a call, or, you know,
or if you're a dropout, you can call. You know, our situations are all different.
Yeah. So it's all good. You know, we'll be happy to hear from you. Anybody that you know that just wants to hear something good and, you know, just be directed, you know, in a positive way. So we have about 3 minutes left in this segment. Was there anything you wanted to talk about in the next 3 minutes?
Well, I think one thing we're finding, or I'm finding for myself and talking to other people, they're finding it, is that we're being led. We're being led by inspiration. And when we follow that inspiration, we can see how our lives are progressing. We can see maybe we didn't want to take this step, but wow, it's really turning into something great for us. And I think Todd can put that into a numerological sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think maybe I'll turn this over to Todd and let him take a little bit of his take on it.
So we got about 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in this segment, but we will be back.
Well, actually, when you said that, I was thinking of the number 9, which is endings, and the painful transformation that we go through. It's also Pluto or Scorpio type of energy. It's very heavy because we want to hold on to things. We even want to hold on to the illusions. Whether they feel good or bad, we'll hold on to anything to stop us going down the river. And after 9 comes 1. Actually, after 9 is 10. And in numerology, you'd add the 1 and 0 together, and 1 and 0 is 1. So you go from 1 to 9 to 1. The inspiration being the 1 energy that all of a sudden you end up somewhere else, and you're a new seed, and you're in a new place, and you detach. And yes, this is definitely it's a long process, but this is what we do, and the fear is getting into the next step and realizing that there's love and opportunity everywhere, and not attaching to any specific thing, but having the faith to look around you and realize that there's always a great blessing coming. And if that's not enough, those things that were so difficult to get rid of in the past, Bruce was just saying, if it's you talk about love, and what did you say? If it's not love, it's fear.
Yes.
If it's not love, it's fear. And I just went through a difficult breakup, and at least at this present moment, and that's all we have is this present moment. I'm not feeling fear. I'm feeling love. And of course, a lot of that has to do, if not all of it, the 2 people that are surrounding me that are like kindred spirits that I'm so happy to be around, and we're on the same wavelength, but also loving myself, and then allowing that other person to have their own path that's not in cohesion, or it is not connecting with my path and what I want, and to allow that to be okay. And that is not an easy process at all.
No, it's not.
There's no doubt about it.
It's important to define it for yourself. But I have a feeling most of us feel our faith has to do with what we were brought up in and what we were told, such as our religious beliefs. And to me, that's not what faith is. to me, faith is what we know to be true, how we see things, who we are, what we become. I think that is our faith. Our faith is really a representation of, to put it again, who we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Faith is the old saying is, seeing is believing. We have to flip it around and saying believing is seeing. You have to visualize what you want to see in your life. If you want it, you got to reflect it.
Absolutely. I truly believe that, Sue.
Yeah.
Belief is everything.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I can liken that to numbers, because the idea of the number patterns is that that's exactly what we believe in. And if your name is a 7, then you're very interested in the metaphysical or spirituality. Billy Graham was born on the 7th. Stephen Hawking is a 7. Edison is a 7. So it's dealing with the invisible realms also. Sylvia Browne, great psychic. But somebody missing a 7 is an atheist. Well, it doesn't essentially make either of them right or wrong. The pattern of our numbers show us what we believe in and what we have faith in. With Rush song, even if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Atheists are believers too. They just have different beliefs.
Right.
And we are our beliefs. Whether or not those are real or not is emphasized by whether or not we believe that they're real. If we believe that they're real, then they are real.
Yeah.
And
I think that's really important.
And what a great gift that God gave us, that whatever we believe is real, because the skies are so wide that whatever you believe you can bring in. I mean, if you need an alien to come down as a friend, it will come down. There's no reason to discredit any of these things. The problem is to magnify it into something good or bad when really you manifested what you needed.
Yeah.
More than anything, than looking at it as whether it's good or bad. Fear is not real, so it's all good.
Yeah.
When we think of something as bad, it's because we don't understand it.
Right. Everything in our life, the people in our lives, like we were talking about earlier, people in our lives are teachers, they're catalysts. I used to have other words for them, which I won't repeat, but...
we're a little beyond that.
Yeah.
At least right now.
Yeah. And, it's good. It's all good.
We can talk about this a little later.
Yeah.
Sometimes the hardest experiences we go through are our greatest teachers.
Yeah.
And no matter how we tend to look at it, as we're going through it, it may be, excuse my language, after we come out of it, we see a different side of it, and it has made us stronger.
Yeah.
And that's all part of growth.
Oh, yeah.
I always think of humor as the ironic twist that none of it was real. Everybody laughs because when you were in it, you were in the meat grinder.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're looking at somebody else in the meat grinder and saying, wow, and pulling them out of it,
Yeah.
with all limbs attached, of course.
Oh, yeah.
From what I see right now, everybody's going through a meat grinder. All my friends, all the people all my acquaintances, they're all going through something.
Well, we got Uranus square Pluto until November, and I was asking my friend Deborah last night what that means, and I got to laugh because I'm in a small little room shaking, going through, it's magnified in this case, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can get out of it, but right now we're around friends, so we're not thinking about it as much.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, everybody's in a vice. And I thought,
it's so true.
Well, what's the difference between in the meat grinder? A couple pulls on that, and everything goes, shoulder bones and stuff go popping, and wow, I mean, the great thing about being around others is the recognition that we're all going through this. when you become an island, you think, oh, I'm the only one. Wow.
Exactly. You just feel singled out by the universe.
And I was left out, or
Yeah.
Something. Wow.
Like all my life, up until I started going to the College of Metaphysical Studies, I felt like I was on this cosmic taxi cab. Somebody just kicked me out, and I was just here, with some occult knowledge and everything. Nobody wanted to hear it at the time. Nobody was there to support me. Well, except for my grandmother and my parents a little bit. But, it's
always somebody.
It's always somebody.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to have them, but at the same time I was filled with frustration because, it's like, okay, I have all this knowledge about the occult and this and that. I can't talk to anybody about it. And I shouldn't use the word occult, really. Metaphysical things,
I still use it. Arcane knowledge.
Yeah. It's all the same thing, and the whole thing is to replace fear with love, and one thing that I got from the Bible was, know thyself. And you really do. You have to cross the moat to get to the castle, and you really have to dig deep and find what you really have to work through, because people are mirrors to us. Like I always say this. I think this is like the third show I said it in. But, Greg Braden, he has on YouTube for free. Oh, I think we have a caller. Hello, and welcome to Transitions to Transformation Radio.
Hello, this is Lee.
Hi, Lee. Reverend Lee Thomas Marsh is on the line. And did you want to say anything tonight, Lee?
Sure. Well, I had a question.
Sure, yeah.
I was wondering if your guest was familiar with the Vedic idea of the fact that we're in a low vibration period, but we're heading into a period of ascension, and that's why everything seems to be spinning, getting faster, spinning more. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
That it seems like the world is speeding up.
Can I answer that, Lee? Lee, that's an excellent question.
Yeah.
Can I answer it for you?
Sure.
I'm thinking of the number 2012. It adds up to 14. Of course, it's a 5, but there's a 14 in there nonetheless. And 1 in 4, 5. 5 is Mercury. It's moving in the sky very fast because it's a karmic number. It's tilting. It's going backwards. It's in super speed. The idea of people being 14s as being erratic, 14 in its higher presence, and Einstein was born on the 14th, by the way. It means impulsive and attached. His mind's going so fast he can't remember to tie his shoes because he's on another plane. So these karmic implications are that we're going from the chaos of outmoded ideologies that must be destroyed through the breaking off of the track, which is what the karmic numbers are. They're out of the box to take us into higher consciousness by deprogramming the human race. And those always feel like scary times because of the high energy. And that was an excellent question because I didn't even think of, when you said Vedic, I don't know if the 2012 is related to Vedic, but what's fascinating is that all of the occult sciences, and by the way, the religious establishment gave that a bad name, just like witch really just means wise, and over thousands of years of usage, Hitler was into the occult, and that just puts a darker thing on it. And the occult is just that which is understood by very few, or the initiate. But that's an excellent question. As far as when you say the low energy, I don't think of 14 as being lower energy, but because it's a karmic number, it's spinning at a lower energy because the 5 being right in the middle and then the 14-5, there's a division in the world before anything spirals up to a higher level of consciousness. So right now there's a lot of mental opposition and ideologies that need to transfer upward, often through psychological upheaval and so forth. Through 14 being communication, too. There's a lot of breakdowns in 5 is communication. Mercury and the sign Gemini that's ruled by Mercury in the number 5. The angels of communication, they're the mediators. I think Nicole Kidman played a role where she's a Gemini, where she played a negotiator, did she not?
Yes.
They're very good communicators. But with the 14, there's a breakdown in the communication because of the number 14. Excellent question.
That was an excellent question.
I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it was a great question.
It hit me right in the center there.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Lee?
Well, no, just, there's the whole 2012, December 21st, December 22nd, event coming up that a lot of people attribute,
Oh, yeah. Talk about...
attribute significance to.
Well,
I'm wondering, where does that stand numerologically?
Well, that's fascinating in itself because I probably thought about it and lost focus on it. It's funny that 12 and 21, 12 is the hangman in the tarot, which is somebody hanging upside down, so they're taking a different perspective through sacrifice and being suspended and stuck, their head being down to the ground so they can take a different spiritual perspective. Christopher Reeves, by the way, that ended up dying in a wheelchair, was a 12. Had to go deep within in this lifetime to make a transformation. And then the 21's the opposite. And we're talking 1221, right?
Yeah, 1221.
33. And the number for that day is 38. I just added up the year, 12, 21, and 2012. And I got 38 when I added those numbers. And that's an 11. So that's a higher level of consciousness. Now, certainly, that can be atomic type of energy. AC/DC adds up to 11, so it can be extreme type of energy, but it takes us to another visionary level altogether. It shows no end whatsoever. It shows a turn from the hangman to upright, from the 12 to the 21. 21 being very, very powerful number, and again we're dealing with threes here, and I'm thinking about Rush's album 2112 because I think it would be much more important for people to listen to Rush 2112. I'm going to see Rush.
That's awesome.
They add up
great
to 3.
concert.
Their vowels add up to 3. The first and second time that I saw them, I had pneumonia the first and had to walk out. The music was too loud. The toilets were shaking. I thought they were spiritual. I didn't know how loud they were. Second time I grabbed Creed tickets instead of Rush and missed it altogether. And I said, well, the third time is going to be a charm, And I said it with no faith. Well, somebody gave me a Rush ticket a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, you got to be kidding me. Well, what day are they playing on? The 3rd, And how many guys are in the band? 3. And when is the genius behind the band born? 9/12. Let's see. 12 is 3. And 9 and 12 is 21. There's the 2112, by the way, of their album. And there's another 3. They got a 3 sitting next to a 3. So these are the artists of artists, and of course I'm sitting in seat 33. Section 15, 5 times 3 on a 9-day, 3 times 3. Now you tell me, Lee, that's not going to be a good day for me because 3 is probably why I missed the others. And I went to a spiritual class, Course in Miracles, and I said to the class that I was feeling very nervous about going to Rush. And they said, well, why? You're going to a concert. Well, I must have known subconsciously that I misplaced those tickets because I missed that show, It's amazing. We know so much on another level. Sometimes we don't communicate it. I knew that those tickets, I wouldn't have brought it up. Why would I have been nervous about it?
Yeah.
And of course you could say, well, we need to watch our words, but I knew that something was, I ended up putting them in a Monopoly box or something, when you hide something too well.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and then I grabbed some old tickets, some old Creed tickets. I got the Creed tickets and the Rush tickets at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So I had the old Creed tickets, and they said, look, you gave us Creed tickets, right? beautiful November night, the first cool night, stars, I could hear them outside.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but, you know, why go, well, I missed them. But, well, it was awesome, actually.
Yeah.
It was, because here's my chance, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of got off on there, Lee, but, yeah.
Well, it's funny that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because earlier today when I was at work,
Right.
I got a promo from the 1-800-ASK Gary for Rush.
Oh.
And I thought, well, I'd like to go to that. And it's funny because the funny thing about it is
Oh, the music's playing?
Not my fault.
Well, we had a wonderful music, and now we're back to talk, and we have Reverend Lee Thomas Marsh on the line, and we were talking about Rush. We were talking about how amazing Rush is. Everybody knows that, but but they also had a spiritual side to them too, and very applicable to everyday life. So go on ahead, Lee, and if you want to talk a bit more about it.
well, that particular band hit me, when I was being raised, it hit me at just the right spot, and where, I was someone who was searching, and Rush seemed to have an answer at that time, and I'm sure that previous generations and future generations will have their own bands, so, Rush is particular to me and my generation, and I know that. I don't expect people 100 years from now to respect Rush the way that I do. But
I do. I do, Lee, but I might not then.
You have a friend in Todd. He loves Rush.
So, in any case,
I could throw another
what
1,000.
they did was touch me in a way that kind of awakened me a little bit, because, there was something inside me that awoke when I heard their music, and that was important to me at the time, and it was a part of my coming of age, and so they'll always be important to me. I don't expect that my children or grandchildren, should I ever have any, would ever feel the same way about that group, but they were very important to me at the
But
time.
they'll have to listen to it every day.
Yeah.
That's the way typical parents,
Yeah.
It's the age of Aquarius every day, whether you like it or not. I just happen to like it,
Yeah. Well, what about you?
But I appreciate you saying that, because I can be headstrong at times. I'm saying, oh, everybody should feel that way, but I think that your message is more important than mine, and that is that we're not. We certainly don't want other people to think like we do. It sure would be a boring world, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
If everybody was a Rush fan, there really wouldn't be anyone to disagree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would be no Bruces around.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Bruce is crawling in his skin over here, but he didn't like him, but he went through the painful revelation that we all did, that he heard the new album, which is amazing in itself, because he had to have opened to it, or mistakenly it was on it, he didn't know who it was, and he had to go through that pride that we all go through, that you say, wow, they have something here, and that's amazing. We all go through that, when we think we're right, and then we find out, well, and what you said about your, not necessarily sharing it with your kids shows a level of, as a healer and humility, that I can appreciate, because it's the lesson is for me. Fanaticism is never the key to anything. There's nothing that great. All it is the manipulation of universal energy, and all musicians do it in a different way to appeal with the frequencies of other people's numbers. All of our numbers vibrate at certain frequencies,
Yeah, that's true. And you have a great quote, your numbers are woven into the fabric of the universe. Mm-hmm. Todd came up with that, and it's so true. Numerology and astrology, I think, the main thing that gets you on the path to healing is to know yourself, cross that moat to get to the castle.
It's a blueprint. It is written. It's everything that's happening to me in relationships. I just ended a painful one, and Lee, the girls, she was the 6 of diamonds and the playing cards, and you just get that from playing card book. Fascinating. And it was in Jupiter, which means it was going to go great. But then it went, after 52 days, a card that I'm not that compatible with, the 4 of Hearts went into Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of limitation, fatality, endings, and hearts. 4 of Hearts is love. And where it gets dangerous is a week in of that 52 phase. I told her that it's going to end painfully. Did I ever realize when it was over just how painful that was? If we knew how painful anything was going to be, we wouldn't go through it. But our spirits take us through it. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
That's what's driving us here, you know. Is that our spirits are indomitable, so it knows that we're going to survive whatever psychologically we go through and become better for it. We actually have agreed to put ourselves through this.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, but it's absolutely true to me. I mean, we all do things. We've all gone through things we never thought we could go through, and then we come out and it's like, okay, we went through it, we made it. What's next?
Exactly. You know, and the beauty of it is that we learn from the people that I lovingly call catalysts.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
Karmic instigators.
And
put us out of our box.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for each and every one, my friends, my past loves, everybody, you know, because you've all taught me something, and you know, and it's a good thing, you know, and the main thing how to heal yourself is to really cross that moat to get to the castle. Find out, dig really deep, you know, spend time alone in nature, go meditate. You know, I like to meditate 10 minutes when I wake up and 10 minutes right before I go to bed. And it really clears my mind, and you really start getting answers. And, you know, that's what I suggest to you folks out there, you know, to meditate and to really get to know yourselves better. And I like to get to know myself better also through numerology and astrology. So, Todd, what was my numbers again?
Well, you came in as a 1. That's a pioneer. You actually came in as a 55-1. 5 and 5 is 10, and 1 and 0 is 1. The double numbers vibrate at higher frequencies. So you came in as a master. Of course, there's lessons. That's just one aspect of the number. So there's other lessons in there, of course. You know, there's many different ways that these numbers are broken down into patterns. But you came in as a pioneer and a channel. I mean, 55 means the conversion of universal language. An example of that would be Bill Gates, who had a 55 destiny, converting human language into computer language. So so all 55s are channels in one way or the other. And 5 is communication. 1 is a pioneer, somebody on the cutting edge of consciousness, of on the I can't think of the word. Yeah, I'm trying to expand on something. I just can't remember the right words for it. It'll come from me. But it has to do with the deepest aspects of consciousness. Neil, you still there?
Lee, you still there?
I mean, Lee? No, he's not on there anymore.
Oh.
Well, anyway, I was thinking of Neil Peart, to bring up Rush one more time.
Oh, yeah.
He's a 100.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're talking about the number 1, and as an example, Neil Peart, who wrote all the great fantasy, philosophical. One has a divine inspiration. It goes straight up and down. So a lot of shamans. Peart is not only a 1, but he's a 100. The zeros magnify those pioneering energies that he has as a magician and a poet and somebody on the very cutting edge of consciousness. You know,
He's been acclaimed apart from the music industry. He's been acclaimed by colleges for his poetry.
Yeah. I mean,
he's I don't remember now what college, because it was quite a few years ago that it happened, but he was acclaimed by like Harvard or somebody for his poetry.
I think I read that. Yeah.
And it was neat. Actually, and it was
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with the music.
Yeah.
He was just, he had published a book of poems, and somebody picked it up and said, hey, this is good stuff.
Yeah, he's a very prolific writer.
Well, he's just a great writer. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, can you imagine having a voice like Geddy Lee's and having a Pert to be able to write those mystical songs so that they sound, you know, the way they do? Not to give Lee and Leeson all the credit in the world. Pert doesn't deserve any more credit. But what's fascinating is that ones are writers. You're a writer, Susan. Pert has written several books, and then he's born on the 12th, which is feeling victimized. He loses his wife of 42 years and then loses his daughter to cancer, you know. And then they come up with Vapor Trails and Snakes and Arrows, which was two quite dark albums, you know. But, you know, being Rush, they're brilliant in certain areas also. I mean, you know, probably not two of my favorite other albums, but again, there's none that I don't like. Yeah.
But can you allow for somebody being dark after that happening? I mean,
what else can you do? You know, I mean, I know I would be dark. Yeah. There's darkness. There's a little bit of darkness in all of their albums because, like the waves, they go up and down. That's the brilliance of Rush, Lee, as you well know, and in all great artists, is that Rush are great at manipulating energy, and they've gotten better at it as time has gone on. Off of the Test of Echo album, Time and Motion, where he says that the coming from Pert, probably Lee wrote some of the songs. He says that the mighty ocean dances with the moon, and the music becomes all ethereal and it goes up and down, and I can just see this wicked battle going on in ocean, and we feel those energies when there's a full moon, and it's like it's really just the universe just playing around with us a little bit, you know. It's fascinating, you know.
Yeah, it really is.
And I love the words to their music, you know. Bruce is starting to cringe again.
No, I'm not.
Let's get on the Led Zeppelin. He's not. I take that back. I tested him there.
I love to see somebody who's inspired by something. You're definitely inspired.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I felt the same way about Led Zeppelin. I can't figure out who my band is. I switched from Zeppelin to Rush to U2, and then I have to throw the Cult in there from Scotland because their name should have been Occult. I mean, all their songs, Firewoman and She Sells Sanctuary and The Phoenix, and you know, I mean, it's all a lot of they're misunderstood because they're a little edgy. But the lead singer, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
Susan, this is in my book. Ian Astbury of the Cult became the lead singer of the Doors until the Doors sued him to take their name back.
Oh, wow.
They became Riders on the Storm for a little while.
Oh, wow.
And Ian Astbury has a one life path, the same as Morrison, and is born on the 14th, which is Indulgence in the Five Senses. Morrison's name is a 14, so they came in as perfect duplications of each other. Of course, I've had people go see him and say he wasn't up to Morrison standards. Whatever, he was a perfect match for Morrison numerologically. As a shaman and somebody that was testing the boundaries. And of course, 14 just isn't drugs. It is also higher consciousness. I mean, for some people it might be through drugs. I just think that we all find that there's a better way to do it than that, you know.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Of course, there's probably addictive properties to all the ways that 14s would find that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, whether it's running or, you know, I mean, even if what one person calls positive, you know, I mean, running doesn't hurt your lungs.
Yeah.
Can. I guess anything can if it's overdone, but, you know,
oh,
it's
yeah.
a more positive way of dealing with that erratic energy of the 14 and what you were talking about, Lee, the 2012. Or in Russia's case, 2112.
Yeah.
Which is a more likely day for something to go down. That would be just another good experience because nothing ends down here. There is no end.
Yeah.
We realize in this moment that we're infinite already. When we're with good friends and we feel that energy and we're laughing and we let things go, we realize that we really, anytime we're feeling a jealousy or we're a separation or isolation, we have separated ourselves from God within that moment. We're already eternal.
We have to be eternal.
I mean, I haven't seen my funeral yet, and it should have been a long time ago, you know. So I'm kind of wondering, did it happen? Did it happen already? Did I come back and I don't know it? You know?
Do you have like a 9 for like 9 lives? Is there any 9s in your?
I don't know. Have you seen any whisters? I'm always amazed when people say that there's been 150 or 250. I mean, that my logical Capricorn mind doesn't quite comprehend that many lives, you know. How many do you think, Bruce?
I think as many times as you need it.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, you're here to experience. What have you experienced?
Yeah.
You know, what do you have left to experience?
Can you even put lives on it? You know.
Yeah.
I mean, back during the biblical times, people lasted 500 years. Isn't that like 6 or 7 years? You know, now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 80 years old.
I can chime in.
I'd like you to.
Yeah, in Vedic, you know, which is my background, which is my faith, not really faith, but
Astrology?
philosophy.
Can I stop you? Astrology or numerology?
It's Vedic.
Uh-huh.
It's
Vedic philosophy and also.
Vedic philosophy.
Uh-huh.
You have to live 1 million years
Wow.
to reach enlightenment.
That's a lot of lifetimes.
Get me some
So
tissues.
you do the math, and that's quite a few lifetimes. You do not have to live that many years to reach enlightenment. That is just average. If you take someone who is, their mind is in a garbage state, it's going to take them quite a while to reach enlightenment.
Oh yeah.
If you take someone who's meditating, they can do it in quite fewer.
Who's what? Meditating. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Reaching super consciousness.
That's one. That's
in the state of this meditation, you can do it in quite fewer. In Paramahansa Yogananda's view, you can do it in a single lifetime, but you have to be dedicated. You have to be disciplined. You have to want to do it. And that's not always easy to do.
No, that would be a difficult life. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, a good majority of us are trying to do it in this life. Believe me, people really are doing the best they can.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just we only have a couple of minutes left in the show, but I would like to say to everybody, you know, just look within, dig deep, meditate 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night, and that's when you're going to find the answers. And really be honest with yourself, and you know, and just examine your life. And if you want to hear from God or Allah, whoever you call him, her, God, Goddess, you know, you just meditate, and that's how you hear. So I'll leave everybody with that. We have, let's see, 4 minutes left, but I do, you know, before this runs out, I usually have to sign off 2 minutes before it actually logs off. So I'll say good night to everybody. Thank you, Reverend Lee Thomas Marsh, for calling in, for being my faithful caller. And I want to thank also Reverend Bruce Stewart, as well as Numerologist Todd Patrick Curran. And Reverend Bruce, where can we get your books, The True Light Cometh and Seeking Spiritual Awareness, A Journey, Inspired by Faith?
Well, The True Light Cometh is out of print. So
okay.
the best place to try to find it is on Amazon. Sometimes copies pop up. But the other one is on, you go to Amazon and you go to Kindle, and it's on Kindle, and you can download it straight from there.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for coming over tonight, Bruce, and you know, and thank you for for pointing me in the right direction and helping me when I needed it most.
Thanks for
I love
coming,
you, man.
Susan. I love you too.
And I want to thank you too, Todd, for coming tonight. And Todd Patrick Curran's book is The Mysteries of Numerology, and that can be found on Amazon. And it's quite a beautiful book. It's a very big book, and it's got if you are into numerology and rock bands, this is the book for you. And especially if you're a Rush fan too, because Todd did the breakdown, of all the numerological life paths.
Lots of bands.
Lots of bands. So I definitely, it's wonderful reading. And I also recommend Bruce's books too. They're just wonderful, just like you guys. So I want to thank you for joining me tonight. And I wish everybody out there many blessings and healing. And we'll see you next week. Have a good night.